day 276, and that means that there's 89 days to go for my 365-day flight. Right? Yes, 89. I think I did the math right. If not, oh well. So today I want to actually talk to you about vision and goals and all that aspect. Just because I really did sit down with myself today, I felt like the energy called in, and I think it's because the moon has hit in Taurus. So the moon being in Taurus is all about grounding energy. Hey, Courtney. And so the moon being in Taurus today, and then tomorrow we're going into full moon eclipse, you might feel like definitely like kind of really looking at certain nitty gritty details of your life. My nosy ass. And so really sitting down, and I sat down today with like my vision, and I'm like, where do I see myself? Where do I want to be? What do I want to do? And I sat with it in terms of life and business and what it's all going to look like from this day forward. Obviously, I don't know what's going to happen in a month, 2 months, 3, 6, whatever. Always open to pivots and shifts as things come into my reality. Because really, we can't really tell the future. We don't know where we're going. We're just doing our best we can navigating it. And so if you do feel called to also really tap into like, what do you want? What do you want out of this life? Like, what do you want in your business? What do you want in your day-to-day life? What is working for you now? What is not working? What, do you desire to shift? What do you desire to, keep the same? Like, what feels good? Like, what are you doing right now that feels good? And you don't have to focus too much on specifics of like, it needs to be a certain way. Like, it could just be a very much like, if there's a certain aspect in your life that right now you're like, it feels heavy, it doesn't feel good doing it, but for some reason you're doing it because you feel like you have to. It's like, okay, well, how can you, like how would you like to feel doing this thing? Or is this thing something that you really have to do? What if you can find a different way of doing it that doesn't feel so heavy? And so these are ways to kind of get you to think about like what kind of life you want to live. Like, obviously life is full of ups and downs, and there's going to be moments where you're going to get like amazing highs and then shitty lows. But overall, you want to feel, satisfied, and you want to feel good about your life. You don't want to feel like shit 24/7 either. And that was just something that I kind of came to terms with recently. It was not a realization all at the same time. It was a breakthrough from like about 2 weeks ago. And it was that I kept myself in a certain space, in a certain place, because I felt like I needed to be here for my business, because I felt that I needed to be in this like constantly healing, constantly doing shadow work and the inner work to show up in my business. So it's like almost like that idea of like misery loves company, but in a different way. And kind of having that realization of like, oh shit, like I'm doing this to myself. I'm keeping myself here, but I don't need to be here. And I can be, somewhere else that I do thrive in, and I am light up, and that it is okay to like feel amazingly happy and awesome, and then there will be moments where I, come and I do the inner work all at the same time. And so that is now like that bigger vision of like creating these steps to getting myself there. In the past, when I tackled goals, I would create like a very set steps of like, this is what needs to happen. Now it's kind of like I do it a little bit differently, where I follow the breadcrumbs and so I'm like, okay, this is what I want to happen. Like, I want to sort out my housing in Tofino and Yuki. Go somewhere that I'm not attached to a caretaking place. And then the other step is like, okay, like really like set the foundations of my business. So by doing these two things, then the next is I'm just going to sit back and let the universe show me the breadcrumbs. And so the universe is going to show me one breadcrumb, a sign that I see that someone says something or something I see on a post. And then I follow that if that intuitively feels right. And then it's just like taking these like small little baby steps. And then after that, next thing you know, the thing that you desire, the thing that you're working towards ends up unfolding in itself in a very natural, easy way that you're just like, wait, how did that happen? And so it's kind of like, that's where I'm at, is like right now I'm just setting that intention up, like, okay, I'm ready to make big moves. I'm ready to make big changes in my life. I don't know the how or the exact details of how I'm going to get there, but this is like it's kind of like setting that and then really just surrendering and trusting that it'll work. And it's kind of scary because it's like, I'm excited and scared at the same time, because I'm making leaps that I don't know where it's taking me next. But that's the beauty of approaching goals from this standpoint, is that you take these leaps and it's like, there's no expectation of what's to come. And then you get to be surprised and wowed by the universe, even more so than if it is something of expectation. So so these big moves, like, I'm going to be kind of like dropping nuggets. I'm not fully sharing everything. I want it to be like a giant, like, surprise. So it's going to be dropping nuggets, and you'll just follow my journey as I continue jumping into the unknown. So it's very much like, I don't know how I'm going to get to these big changes and big moves, but you'll follow me as I'm going, and then we'll see what happens, and we'll see how it ends up, because I have no idea, to be honest. So it's exciting, it's fun, and that's it for today's live. Thanks, Courtney, for joining me and listening, and I will speak to you all tomorrow.